act. It's like teaching a dog to be a cat. You don't teach white kids to be black. Why is that? Is it because we're the minority? Well, black kids follow me. Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. Genesis 14 verse 13. Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black.
What?
Abraham born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham.
Man. Who would have thought that people back in the day had knowledge of the scriptures where they can pinpoint certain genealogies and put it in a song, put it in a rap song? Ain't that something? That's a wonderful thing. And we was all bobbing our heads to the music, listening to the beats, but didn't pay no attention to what was said. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. Please forgive me. Peace and blessings multiply to you and yours, and knowledge of wisdom and understanding of the Most High God, the Savior to those that keep His commandments. For anybody on YouTube, I apologize. I was supposed to stream way before now, but just let me explain myself. I was going to use Restream, the software Restream, to stream live to YouTube and Facebook at the same time using one device. However, didn't find out till tonight, that the free software won't allow you to do that. And I'm like, oh, well, it's not expensive for the paid version, but I'm like, I didn't know that. I would have took care of that beforehand. So I was unable to do so I had to try to do what I got to do. But you know, it's amazing how, not just me, but many of us, we know a whole lot of people that are tech savvy, right? Me included. I know some people that's, matter of fact, I know several that are tech savvy and know what I'm doing, know what I'm trying to do. Know I'm trying to put the word out there, and know I'm trying to grow in different ways to help others attain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in the scriptures, in the Bible. I'm doing this on my own. So, I'm like a turtle, I'm gonna get there, you know, but see, that's the thing. People know what you're doing, but they ain't trying to help you. So I'm in this all by myself, you know, just keeping it real, you know, just keeping it real. So, with that being said, praise the Most High God, I'm finally here live on YouTube and Facebook, and it's supposed to be a Wednesday night Bible study, well, Wednesday night question and answer, Q&A, talking about the 3 seeds of Noah, and since it's so late, I'm definitely going to cut it very short. But what brought this about was a couple of weeks ago, a young gentleman asked me, he commented on a YouTube lesson, asking me about the Edomites. And he asked me, were the Edomites white people? Now, my reply to him was that Edomites have white skin. They look white, but the thing is, they are not Gentiles. Because Edomites and the seed of Jacob come out of the same seed, out of Shem, right? You heard it in the song. It said Shem was a black man. Okay, one of the 3 sons of Noah. Noah had 3 sons: Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And the thing is, just like you have black folks that are Negroes, they look just like Africans, right? Well, very similar, right? You got Edomites that look just like Gentiles, but out of two different seeds. Edomites are out of the seed of Shem. That's why they always hollering anti-Semitic. and Gentiles are out of the seed of Japheth. Just like Negroes are out of the seed of Shem, but they look like the Africans, which are out of the seed of Ham. Two totally different seeds. So the thing is, man. So that made me want to go into the scriptures to maybe try to clarify some more things, if possible. If you got your Bibles, open them up to Genesis chapter 9. Now this is God when he was talking to Noah, because remember, Noah and his wife, that's 2, plus Noah's 3 sons and their 3 wives, that's 8 souls made it across the flood. God flooded the whole earth because when you read it in Genesis 6, verse 5, you say that the wickedness of man was evil in the earth continually. So he had to clean out that wickedness. Just like he's going to do when he returns. He had to clean out the wickedness and start all over with Noah and his family. 8 souls to repopulate the earth. All right? So this is the covenant with Noah that God was talking about concerning the flood. And speaking of that flood, you ever heard that old church song, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. It won't be water, but fire next time. That's how you're gonna clean it up next time. Anyway, Genesis 9, beginning with verse 12. And God said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. Lord say, I ain't going to destroy everything with water no more. It's my covenant between me, you, and the rest of the earth. Verse 16, and the bow shall be in the cloud. That's a rainbow. Okay? And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Verse 19, these are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. That's right. They repopulated the earth after the flood. Anybody that was living before the flood and didn't make it on that boat, on that ship, is no longer in existence. God wiped them out. All right. That was verse 19. Turn over to Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. They were born after the flood. These generations were born after the flood to repopulate the earth, to start all over. I'm going to skip to verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. Whoa. Keep in mind about Mizraim. I'm going to read something about that. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sapphai, and Raamah, and Saptakah. And the sons of Raamah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. All right, Nimrod. If you heard that song I was playing from back in the day, He said, Abraham born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Just read that out the Bible. All right. Ain't that something? And world history proves that Nimrod was a black man. It's not just in the Bible. All right. Now, that was verse 8. Skip to verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, that's the Assyrians, and builded Nineveh. Remember the prophet Joel? No, not Joel. I'm sorry, not Joel. Jonah. Remember, the Lord sent Jonah to go preach a message to Nineveh, and he ran because he didn't want to. And Israel could be like that today. He did not want to go preach the word to Nineveh. He did not want them to be saved. You know why? Because people can have prejudices about other nations and other people, even in your own race. So, but he thought he could run from God, and God had a big whale or fish swallow him up for 3 days and 3 nights, and spit him out and said he gonna go preach to Nineveh. So that's just an example of God's mercy. God was giving them a chance to repent for their sins. But that's another lesson. So Nineveh, that's where the Assyrians dwelt, right? Okay. Where am I? Yeah, Asher, that's the Assyrians. But the Assyrians, Asher, the Assyrians are also Semitic. You hear me? They are Semitic. Now, when it comes to the Philistines, they are Hamitic. The Philistines, the sea peoples. When you watch a movie called David and Goliath, Goliath was a Philistine. So if you ever see that movie, you're supposed to be looking at David, a small black man, versus Goliath, a big, giant, tall black man. You ever seen Manute Bol, that basketball player back in the day, for the Washington Bullets? What, 7'6"? Okay. They come out of the seed of Ham. They were Africans. Okay. All right. Matter of fact, since I'm mentioning the land of Africa, which is also called the land of Ham, here is a globe. If you got some Bibles, in the back of the book, they'll have maps. Some of the Bibles will have the 3 seeds of Noah in there. Ham, Shem, and Japheth, where they dwelt, where they lived. Okay, you see Africa. Right here is Saudi Arabia, and in the middle, right there, is Israel, right? But to the north, you got other lands too. On the map in your Bible, if it has the 3 seeds of Noah, it'll be Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem dwelt, if you can see that, Shem dwelt in this area. Ham dwelt over here. We know that's Africa. And Japheth dwelt up north. Okay? Japheth, or Japhethites. Oh my, sorry. Japhethites are what we know today as Indo-Europeans or white people. Ooh, good thing that didn't break. All right. We all living on this planet together. That's where the Gentiles come from, Japheth. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it right quick. It says, in the New Testament it says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Excuse me, what Gentile nation sacked Jerusalem in 70 AD? The Romans. All right. Gentiles. All right. Let's see if I can find the Isles of the Gentiles right quick. Well, okay. Well, let me see. I don't want to hold anybody. Well, ain't nobody on that, no way. Okay, so let me see. Well, let me move on. Yeah, because it's getting late. Let me see. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, I was still in Genesis 10. I'm going to skip down to verse 12. And Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Ananim, and Lehabim, and Natuhim, and Pathusim, and Cal slew him, out of whom came Philistim. That's the Philistines. Out of. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I think I messed up somewhere. I think I said something wrong. Because it is, let me see. Okay. No, I said it right. The Assyrians out of Cedar Shem. Oh, wait. So, if the Philistines out of the Cedar Shem, I'm not the Philistines, but the Assyrians. And I'm gonna get to the Hamites. Let me keep reading. Oh, okay. Verse 15, and Canaan begot Sidon his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, and even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham. Whoa. Okay. These are the sons of Ham. Learn something new every day. Let's see, verse 6 says, and the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan. Okay. When the Israelite Joseph went to bury his father, there were a bunch of Africans or Hamitic tribes with him. Well, let me see. There were a bunch of Egyptians with him, right? There were a bunch of Egyptians, which we know come out of the seed of Ham, because they were dwelling in the land of Ham. And others that saw them pass by said, they called it Abel Mizraim, mourning for the black people. But you had two different black people in that group to go bury the father of Joseph. It was Israelites and Egyptians. Turn to the New Testament. Let me show you something. Acts chapter 21. Well, you ain't got to turn. Acts 21. This is the Apostle Paul. Because Moses was brought up in Pharaoh's house as Pharaoh's grandson. So he had to look just like Pharaoh, right? Okay. Here's Paul. Acts 21 and verse 37. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Are not thou that Egyptian, which before these days made us an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus. Whoa. See, Paul was an Israelite, but he was mistaken for an Egyptian, which means what? Paul the apostle was black. Okay. I ain't got to read no more of that. Genesis 11. Back to Genesis. Genesis 11. 3 sons of Noah. Let me try to stay on track. Beginning with verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So they went in one area, the land of Shinar, and they all had one language. Because it say right here, verse 1, the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Verse 5, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Why did the Lord do that? Because the Lord had an original plan for man. But man was wicked, as you read in Genesis 6. So the Lord confounded their languages, and those that could not understand each other, they didn't dwell among each other anymore. So the Lord had them scattered abroad. These people went that way, and the others went that way. Those that could understand each other stuck with each other. All right? So go to, let us confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build a city. So the Lord, because you ever have any interest in science? Today, scientists, well, even back in the day, even back in the 80s, they did this thing called the search for Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve was the first man and woman, right? Those scientists found that the mitochondrial DNA of Adam and Eve, they were originally black people, right? Okay? And the region that it started was in this region right here. They call it the Middle East, but the middle of what? So they was in the land of Shinar, and then the Lord scattered them abroad all over the earth. Okay? Well, the different regions until they just kept growing and growing, and they got scattered all over the earth. Now, verse 9. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Now, Nimrod built the city, and it's mentioned again right here in verse 9. The city is called Babel, which is original land of Babylon, which was built by Nimrod. And the original Babylonians were black people. They were Hamites, out of the seed of Ham, until the Gentile Nebuchadnezzar, or Nebuchadnezzar's daddy, conquered them. But that's another lesson. All right. So, turn to Psalm 105. Now, I'm going to turn to Psalm 105. Let's see. Psalm 105 and verse 23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Where's that? Africa, right? Wasn't Jesus hid in Africa as a young child? So Herod wouldn't kill him? So if Jesus was a Gentile, or if he had white skin, he would have easily been found and slaughtered by Herod's men, right? But just like even now, when brothers are on the run, where do they go? They go down to Mississippi or Arkansas. They go down to the south where most of our ancestors were brought over here on slave ships to mingle and blend in so they can't be found. So when Jesus was took into Egypt, he had to look like the Egyptians as well, like Paul did, right? Otherwise, they would have found him. Just common sense. Just common sense. It said Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, and he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moses, his servant, and Aaron, whom he had chosen. They showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. Let me show you something about Ham, since we keep mentioning it. Well, I keep mentioning Ham. This is Donovan Compact Bible Dictionary. This is page 213. Just to clarify something, because a lot of people, or even myself, have been guilty over the years of lumping everybody together in one group or so. This is going to clarify something. This is going to clarify what the Bible will say anyway. Page 213 is talking about Ham. It says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Whoa. Progenitor means father. Ham was the father of the dark races, but not the Negroes. And why is that? Because Ham, or Hamitic people, or Hamites, are Africans. Well, I'm going to read it. It's going to clarify that too. My bad. Let me read that again. It says, Ham became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites are sons of Ham. But who is not a son of Ham, but look like those Egyptians, Ethiopians, etc.? Negroes. Negroes are not out of the son of Ham. Therefore, they are not Hamitic. They are not Hamites. They are not Africans. We are called or labeled African Americans today because we were brought over here to America on slave ships and sold to the Europeans by Africans. Oh, that's a bombshell. But that is not our true national name. Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5 says, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Say, Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. You can also find that in the New Standard Encyclopedia, volume 4, speaking on Ham, says it's not correct to call Negro the son of Ham. That's right, because Negroes come out of the seed of Shem. All right. Which brings me to another descendant of Shem, which is Jacob's brother Esau. Now, well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it first. Genesis 25. Uh-oh. Genesis chapter 25. Let's see. Genesis 25. And this is talking about Jacob and Esau when Esau sold his birthright for a pottage of red soup. Let's start with verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. I went there because a lot of New Testament Christians would say Jacob stole the birthright. But you can read it all day long in the Bible that Esau sold it to him. Jacob bought his birthright. And it wasn't going to happen unless God allowed it anyway. So, read on. Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Of course he despised it. He sold it to him for a pot of red soup. Let me see. Now, let me go back, because the young man, he did mention the fact that the description in the Bible of Esau, or the Edomites, fits the description of Gentiles that we see today. But you know, if you do some research, you can look at some very old pictures of Edomites, and do you know that they will look like Arabs? Same people they fighting over that land for. You know, they can pass for. Matter of fact, I think I did a video a few years ago, how Edomites were disguising themselves to sneak into Arab headquarters and infiltrate. Man, anyway, that's a long story. That's another lesson. But let me see. Yeah, but I was gonna read it, but Esau, even though his parents did not want him or Jacob to go in unto the daughters of Canaan, he did it anyway. And just like when you look up the genealogy of the German people, that's where you get the term Ashkenaz from. They were Germans, they were Gentiles. But but they both got white faces though, right? So that can be confusing if somebody don't have any knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, they might be like, why those white people fighting those white people? Why are those white people doing this to those other white people? No, yeah, they might be both white, but they out of two different seeds. Germans, or Ashkenazi, where you might get the term derived from Nazi, are out of the seed of they are out of the seed of Japheth. They are Gentiles. But Edomites come out of the seed of Shem. That's why they always hollering anti-Semitic. Yo, you being anti-Semitic. No. But if they can't say that to us, because Negroes are Semitic. All right, anyway. Let me find this where Jacob and Esau was born, and it gives you the description of Esau, like the young man asked me about. Let's see. Okay, same chapter. That's what I thought. Genesis 25, starting with verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Whoa. The Lord said 2 separate nations are in her womb. I'm going to read on. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders shall serve the younger. And that did happen during the days of King David, where he had authority over the Edomites. Verse 24, and when her days were to be delivered, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Not identical twins. The Bible won't point that out. Verse 25, and the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So, now, when you read that description of Esau, one would think, okay, so we know who that is. That's white men, right? Because coincidentally, I have this book right here. It's called Esau by James R. Shaw. And what they got on the cover? They got a man red and hairy. All right. So, which brings me to another history book. This is Heritage, Civilization, and the Jews. All right. Written by Edomites. Okay? Now, in this book, let me show you, it's got some pictures of Edomites, right? Oh, here's a famous one that everybody in grammar school or elementary school or whatever may have read or heard the book or seen the movie in class, The Diary of Anne Frank. Okay, right? She looks like a white girl, right? Okay. Here's another book, Pictorial History of the Jewish People, Jewish. And here's a bunch of famous Jews or Edomites. And we can see that they all look white. They all look like Gentiles, right? But they not. They come out of the seed of Shem. All right. So, back to this heritage civilization and the Jews. Oh, my bad. Heritage civilization and the Jews. Now, this is written by Edomite. And they got a picture of the carvings on the wall in ancient Egypt, in the Cairo, in ancient, the museum over in Egypt. They're going to show you what Egyptians look like. Even though I read it out of the Bible and out of history. Let's see. I just had it. There it is. This is page 29. It says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage. Exodus 1, verses 13 to 14. Semitic captives are shown in this ancient Egyptian painting. Now, get a close look. Those are ancient Egyptians on the top, because you see their headdress of Egyptian stuff. And it says right here on the bottom, if you look real closely, it says Semitic captives, which were who? Israelites, because they got their arms tied behind their backs. Who was in slavery in Egypt for 400 years? Israelites. And they all look alike. That's why Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. Okay? So just to clear that up. That's why in the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5, it says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. All right? Now, Matthew chapter 2. Just to touch on what I mentioned a little while ago, that Jesus was hid in Egypt. So if he was hid in Egypt, he had to look just like the Egyptians. Matthew 2, beginning with verse 11. And when they were coming to the house, not a manger. Okay. Anyway, and when they come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother and fell down and worshiped him. He's the wise man. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. They always say 3 wise men because there was only 3 gifts, but it could have been 50 wise men bringing. Man, I'm going to look over that. Verse 12, and being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. Verse 15, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. So, man. Have you ever heard of Madai, M-A-D-A-I? That's the Medes. The Medes and the Persians, which are Gentiles, which are part of the four winds of heaven, the four Gentile dynasties, starting with the Neo-Babylonian Empire with Nebuchadnezzar, the Medes and the Persians, the Greeks and the Romans, all Gentile nations. And we still under Gentile rulership to this day. They all come out of the seed of Japheth. But you got other nations that look like them, but they are not of the same seed. Hey, Smokey, you was outside? My bad. Hold on. Yeah, so just like Egyptians, or should I say Hamites, just like Africans look like black folks, Negroes, they are not of the same seed. And I believe Hamites know this and been knowing this for a long time. That's why a lot of them don't like us. I've hardly ever came across a friendly African. Why is that? Because they know that they sold our people into slavery to the Europeans? Who knows? I don't know. And you got, so that's two different seeds, Ham and Shem. But then you got Shem again with the Edomites, the ones that call themselves the modern day Jews. Even though, you know, because believe it or not, since nobody's watching, believe it or not, as dark as I am, when I was born as a baby, I looked just like a white person. You know what I'm saying? I looked just like a white baby. But fortunately enough for me, I had more melanin in my genes that I retained, and they manifest themselves later on, you know. Because a lot of babies are born, you know, real bright, you know, and end up being dark. Because I know you are what your daddy is. My daddy was black. My granddaddy was black. So, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when I was a baby, I looked white for a little while, you know, at least. So, you know, the thing is, Jacob and Esau were twins, but they were not paternal twins. They were maternal twins. They weren't identical twins. You know, there are a lot of instances, a lot of cases where your twins can come out not looking the same. But Jacob and Esau, two different nations out of the same womb. But that's according to prophecy too. So, anyway, and the Gentiles, man, there's so many different Gentiles. Okay, you got the Greeks, you got the Romans, you got the Medes and the Persians, you got the Neo-Babylonians. I wanted to make this like a series, but since I had issues again, maybe I will bring it back on. Maybe I will do a 3-season Noah, because one nation of people, we know, well, radicals will tell you that the Chinese and the Japanese are Ammon and Moab. Okay. How do they know that? Because their description doesn't fit. Their description doesn't fit Israelite description, and we know Ammon and Moab were descendants of Lot, right? So that would mean descendants of Lot would look more like us. But that's another lesson for another day. Elamites, they were out of the seed of Shem. Who else? Lydians, Syrians, Assyrians, ancient Chaldeans before Nebuchadnezzar's time, and see out of Japheth. I already said Greeks from Russia, Tubal and Meshach, the Russians. They come out of the seed of Japheth. They are Gentiles. Germans, Spaniards, Sumerians, Gomer, Magog, Europeans. They all out of the sea, the Isles of the Gentiles. Tarshish. Man. Oh man. But since it's late, Lord's will, I'm gonna do a recurring lesson on this. Because I remember I asked one of the wise men years ago, I said, we finally know who all these nations come out of, who they are. I asked him about the Hispanics, and he said he don't know. Which made me say, okay, if he didn't know, then I gotta go back to the Bible. And when Israel came out of Egyptian captivity and slavery, there were mixed multitudes with them. So, could be the mixed multitude. Anyway, do I got any more scriptures to read? Exodus 2. Let me read Exodus 2 right quick. Exodus 2. And I believe this is talking about the Egyptians, how they thought it was an abomination to sit down and eat with Israelites or something. Exodus 2 and 16. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters. Oh, okay. And they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their flocks. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds." Wait a minute. They, way back in them times, they thought Moses was an Egyptian. Which means what? he looked black like this. Okay? Just that simple. Okay? Now, of course, throughout the ages, these movies like the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, you got a Gentile up there playing as Moses. It's not historically correct, nor is it biblically correct. That's all a plot of white supremacy, but, you know, we know the truth. We know the truth. Thank God we know the truth. But, you ever see Good Times, that episode where Michael had that picture of black cheese? I mean, it's biblically correct. You know? Hey, he was hid in Egypt among other black people. But yeah, I'm gonna do some more studying on this, because there's some other nationalities out there that I would like to, because I wanted to mention the fact that, you know how the Falashas, the Ethiopians, you know, they were airlifted to live in the land of Israel with them Edomites because of their DNA. Well, that's because all Ethiopians are not Hamites. Because you got to think about it. And this ain't no 12 tribe thing. You got to think about the fact that about 100 years before the Babylonian captivity, the 9 tribes were taken into captivity, 2 Kings 17. So the Falashas could very well be one of those tribes, because when you read the scriptures, the last 3 tribes remaining, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, were the ones that got scattered. They were the last ones left, and they got scattered all over. All right? And over time, throughout the ages, the rest of the 9 tribes have migrated and got scattered as well. So in America, you might have more than just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You might have Dan or Naphtali. You know, I don't care which tribe I'm from, just as long as I'm one of the tribes, one of the 12. You know, don't matter to me. But yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to shed some more light on some other nations. And I want to thank the young brother, I forgot his name. I somehow mistakenly deleted the comment from the video, because when I replied to him. But yeah, that's something to think about. You got to think about all these nations on this planet living together, and a lot of nations look alike. They look the same, but they come out of different seeds. So, hey, thank the Most High God, it's Wednesday. We made it halfway through. Keep striving, stay strong. Peace and blessings multiplied to you and yours.